There are a few spotters out there that have really paved the way for guys like me, TJ, and Freddie to go out, do what we love. Bob Jeffery was certainly one of those guys. So Bob lost a big, long battle with cancer last week, and we're going to take a moment of silence to celebrate his life and his accomplishments in all of motorsports.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to DBC. We have lost TJ. He was so mad yesterday he couldn't even show up for the show today. What's up, Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace, Ty Dillon, and who else did I have this week? Kyle Sieg. Ty Dillon's other spotters here today.
I had Ty Dillon as well. I think I did. I do better than you with Ty Dillon. We finished 18th or 19th yesterday.
You don't even know where you finished?
No,
I don't know where we finished.
Well, that show, who knows where anybody finished other than Larson.
I think we might have beat you. I don't remember for sure.
Brett Griffin spotted for Ty Dillon yesterday, Richard Childress Racing, and since we're considered to be on vacation, Freddie, I brought beer.
Well, I figured it's only fitting that we sit here and drink the cooler empty of Michelob Ultras for our buddy Bob this week.
Yeah, same.
So what's up, Casey?
Oh, lucky me. Casey Boat here.
Casey basically went viral this week, I think. I mean,
do we really need to bring this up again?
So I got to ask you something.
Yes.
Obviously, we both know Chad Boat. Freddie knows him better than I do, but anyway. What did Chad think about us calling out how spoiled you are?
Oh, he thought it was hilarious. He came home from his trip after being gone most of the week. Came home and said, "You were so mad in that video. Your face, you were so mad." I was like, "And if you were home, you would see how mad my face was when you're out of town all the time."
Did you get mad all over again at him after that?
Maybe a little bit later, but you know.
I'm just glad Chad's on our side. That makes me feel better.
He knows better than to say he's on your side. He knows better than that. You're the only idiot who brings it all up.
Bros before hoes.
Yeah, whatever.
We're getting canceled.
Whatever. Anyways, back from Indy. What is it? Golden Boy? Is that what we call him now? Kyle Larson gets the win.
I thought it was nice of him to tweet thank you to NASCAR for them handing him the win. Yeah. Listen, I think you even tweeted this yesterday, or maybe it was on Catch Racing. I can't remember, but I agreed with. I don't care how boring that race is. I'll take that 1,000 times over the road course. Like just the prestige of that place. And you could see Kyle gets out. His interview is amazing. He basically announces he's running the Indy 500 again next year in his Victory Lane interview, and he says, "I'll see you guys in May." So
it's not really done.
Yeah,
yet,
he said we're working on it. We're gonna try to put some stuff together. Hopefully, we can make an announcement soon. But I'll see you in May. So okay, well I think you just made the announcement.
Yeah. Our friend Melanie on Twitter, she put out a tweet, and it said basically, and I don't have it right here in front of me, but until next year, Indy we'll see you around. And she went through all these things, and it was like awesome view, check. Great time with friends, check. NASCAR back on the oval, check. So, and that's what inspired me to send that tweet out. Is I'm a NASCAR old school guy. 2 road courses a year was great for me. This 5 or 6 isn't my thing, and I love oval racing. It's what I grew up watching and loving. So I'll stand by that statement. And I didn't think the entire race was boring. The first half of the day was typical Indy. Hard to pass, pit strategies, everything, pit stops are everything. As the race went on, stuff started happening, and we started having more cautions and more guys running out of gas and restarts getting questionable, and then, cautions being questionable. So if you like a show, we had one for the last 30 to 40 laps.
What I will say is I dearly missed our pagoda yesterday.
Well, that's why I tweeted after the race, that's the hardest race I've ever spotted. If I were in the U.S. military and had any authority, I would fire 2 Scud missiles at those spotter stands and blow them slam off the racetrack, so they would have to rebuild them somewhere that you can actually see.
Tell us how you really feel.
I spent 4 hours trying to figure out which car was mine coming at me at 185 miles an hour.
The fact I told you on Saturday night, you were going to be screwed because I'd spotted for an all black car on Saturday and yours was all black on Sunday.
Black and gray, which is also the same color as the asphalt.
It's like, you're going to have a hard time finding your car tomorrow. And I was giving you last night about it because it was like there was no passing. So it wasn't like
yeah, but I was still panicking. That didn't stop me from panicking. Where's my car? Oh, my God. Who was I behind last time I came through here? Oh, there I am. Oh, we didn't get wrecked. Praise Jesus. Have you ever heard of the Red Rock Amphitheater out there in Colorado? I feel like Indianapolis is like that statue of a sporting event. Like tens of millions of people have gone through here over 100+ years, and when you walk in there, and I walked in yesterday, as I'm sure you did too, and when you just walk around there, you just have this iconic feel, and there's so many fans that are there because they truly just love the racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could see it just in the neighborhood. It's obviously right in the middle of a neighborhood. The front straightaway butts up to just an entire neighborhood. And every house you go by has checkered flags out, or Indianapolis Motor Speedway, flags hanging from their house. Everybody's got parking in their yard. It's just the way it's embraced by everybody in the community. Everything around the place is it's Speedway, Indiana, for God's sakes. So it's like you said, it's just an iconic feel. And then I felt like we always lost a little bit of that when we ran the road course. And now that we're back on the oval, I feel like it brought it right back.
Even the drivers. I mean, when talking about that track, this race in general, I have not heard a driver talk about the prestige of a race in their interviews in so long. And I feel like that was the vibe overall for everyone.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a crown jewel race. Nobody mentioned it being a crown jewel race the last 3 years.
I don't mean anything by this. I was very fortunate to win a race with Colleague Racing. AJ Allmendinger, Chris Rice gave me a ring. And it will forever be a cool moment where I got to kiss the bricks. But as I was walking down there, having spotted 20 years at the Oval and having almost won it with Elliott Sadler a couple times and watched my good friend DJ win it, and having gone to victory lane to see him, I didn't have that same feeling in my heart because it was the road course. You know what I mean? So I think 70,000 plus people showed back up yesterday because they missed the Oval. And They stopped coming because of the Goodyear tire debacle. I don't care what anybody says. They got pissed off. They got their feelings hurt. I don't blame them. And now I think they're just happy to see it back where it belongs. And I know the place didn't look slammed, but I'm telling you, everywhere I went yesterday, trying to get in and out of tunnels and walking through the garage, it was packed.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it doesn't look busy because it holds so many damn people, but I think they compared it to like an NFL sellout, which if it's, that's 70, 80,000 people, whatever it was yesterday. They were there, like you said, the infield was packed of people every time I tried to walk in there. Going through the tunnels was jammed up. It's just an iconic place. And again, as always, it was spotless. Just a beautiful facility, everything well maintained. Just probably the nicest racetrack in the world.
I feel like we got to give a shout out to a couple of new Don't Give a tour members.
Okay.
I feel like after Briscoe's move at Chicago with SVG, and now his move yesterday off of 2 with William Byron, he's joined the Don't Give a
Don't give a
he's in over his head. And then Hocevar, we've never put him on the tour.
He's been the opening act for a while.
He's now on. Yeah, he's now the main event. Like he's making somebody mad every week.
That deal I saw where he made it 3 wide, right? And I thought Blaney kind of came down on him. But he's still kind of wedging it in there. I mean, that's him. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna be aggressive. You got to be ready for it.
So I was standing beside a Brandon Lyons yesterday, who got wrecked. He spots for William Byron and Joe, that Joey Campbell that works for Briscoe. He came down to say, after he tore up my man's car, sent him head on into the wall. He said, "Hey man, Chase said tell you that he just got tight right there." Brandon Lyons lost his mind. And I've never seen Brandon really get mad. And I'm laughing because I've been up there a long time, but Brandon's just losing his mind. He's throwing stuff in his bag like my vacation's starting 3 weeks earlier than it should be, and then after he calmed down, he's like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said all that to Joe. I probably shouldn't have been that mad." But yeah, Chase Briscoe, I said on this show when he signed that 19 deal, you're getting ready to see him turn up the wig and prove he belongs and to prove he deserves it. And, man, it's been mistake after mistake. So he needs to go on a run with a few weeks where he's not wrecking anybody.
He totally killed my DBC pick, so there's that.
So you're mad at him, too?
Yes, I'm very mad.
Uh-oh, TJ's texting me. What do you think he's gonna talk
can we FaceTime him?
You better bring up the fact that Brett did the same did.
Oh, he was crying.
He sent me the video.
Of course he did. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that when we get to that moment.
Can't wait.
Anyways, what do you guys think of the truck race at IRP being close, allowing them to really bring the short track, local track vibe back to NASCAR?
I mean, I think it's amazing. I think IRP is one of the best racetracks we go to as far as just racing. You know, you can run all over that place. Forever, it was kind of like the Top Groove. All of a sudden, we fired off on Friday night, and guys are running on the flat and the apron. And listen, this ain't going to be popular because it was an amazing finish, but the Xfinity race would have been way better at IRP. You know, obviously, like I said, it was a great finish. Denny seemed pretty impressed with it for some reason.
Tweeted impressive.
Weird.
Here's what I will say about that race and the end of that race is I think Riley Herbst had an unbelievable race car.
Yes.
I think Riley Herbst did every single move as perfectly as you can do it and not wreck anybody and still go out and win your race. And for that to be only his second ever career win in Xfinity Series and to do it on that big of a stage with that precise of moves that he did it was impressive. Do I think that means he's Cup Series worthy? I don't believe that yet, but there are people who do.
Listen, the save he made getting into 4 when the 20 kind of just came down on him a little bit, trying to hold him tight. Like I don't know how he, 1, saved it, and then 2, didn't even really break momentum and lose the lead. You know, 20 might have cut him a break after they made contact, but I doubt it. And he's sideways through the corner, entry to the corner. So I mean, yeah, just phenomenal job on his part. But yeah, if you ask me, 10 times out of 10, I'd rather see that race at IRP.
Same. Stewart-Haas Racing, though, they announced Cole is going to be their Cup driver for Haas Factory team. They go out win the Xfinity race. Like Stewart-Haas or / Gene Haas Racing, Haas Factory team racing, they're not done with their NASCAR legacy.
No. And, you know, obviously Cole, Cole Custer, I tweeted this yesterday, is probably one of the funniest individuals I've ever come across that's not trying to be funny.
He's very meek and very funny.
Like, he's just like this quiet, unassuming guy that's just hilarious.
He'll make comments and you're like, what?
But yeah, he deserves to be back in the Cup Series.
He never deserved not to be in the Cup Series, and I don't mean any disrespect to Ryan Preece when I say this, but that car hadn't run. It's probably run worse.
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, as a whole, they haven't run great, and then it just but yeah. So good to see Cole back. Be interesting to see who sticks around there, team wise, crew chief wise. I'm sure those stuff's coming. Who's going to end up in those Xfinity cars? I heard a couple rumors this week about Haley Deegan. His name, I think they brought it up in the press conference.
Did. Yep.
And
Riley.
I don't think Riley's going to be an option.
There's no chance.
But
the charter deal's got to get done first. And then when the charter deal gets done, then obviously some things can happen. This would be my question if I had Joe Custer sitting beside of me today, is you have control over who you let buy your charters. And if you're going to have an alliance with RFK, is RFK going to get a charter?
Yeah.
Because you're rumored to be selling one to Trackhouse, rumored to be selling one to 2311. Allegedly, you've already sold one to Front Row Motorsports. So we heard RFK, we heard RCR and rumblings that they may want to expand. So if you had control over where they're going and you're forming this big alliance, I'm just curious if RFK would now be potentially back in play for one.
It's possible. And listen, that RFK deal, that seems like that's the move. That they've helped Rick Ware Racing out tremendously this year. They've had a big step up in their performance. I think Cody finished 18th yesterday, which is a great run for them. A lot of just surviving and being there in right place, right time. But that's a really good finish for them. Justin, I think they had both cars in the top 20. So that's a good day for them. Obviously, that alliance is paying off. So now hopefully that can transcend and continue with Haas Factory team.
Interesting. I guess we'll find out over the next few weeks. Oh, all right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's kick it off to Spot On, Spot Off.
Summer's finally here. When I'm thinking of summer plans, it's hanging out by the pool, barbecuing on the grill, or best of all, sports.
From NASCAR races to baseball games, there's nothing like kicking back and catching a game with some buddies or the family.
FanDuel helps me keep up with the latest action in the sports world. All I have to do is open the app and make up any of the bets I'm in the mood for.
And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long.
So head over to FanDuel.com/DBC and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
21 and up and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718 5543 or visit morethanthegame.nc.gov. First topic. Kyle Busch appeared on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week and had some comments on his incidents with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Corey LaJoie. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
First of all, spot on for any time any of our guys are willing to put themselves out there, especially on a platform as big as the Pat McAfee show. Actually ran into Pat Saturday night out in Indy.
How big is he?
I mean, he's bigger than I am, but he's not.
You have a tank top on?
He did have a tank top on.
I think we should start wearing tank tops.
I definitely do not think we should start wearing a tank top.
Not start wearing.
You're wearing a tank top.
I look like King Kong.
I am. I'm also very pregnant.
So are we.
So yeah, I was gonna say we all are.
Same.
We're all the same size. But no, this was. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go back and find some of the quotes. He talks about naming Ricky Stenhouse,
Ricky Spinhouse.
Ricky Spinhouse. And he's talking about throwing haymakers like old school NASCAR days. The only thing I laughed at, which is, he vowed revenge on Corey LaJoie, which, that means that's not going to ever happen now. So, but I thought I just think it's awesome that when our drivers go out there on different kind of platforms and promote the sport and promote it like this is fun. Like when you get to have a little fun with a guy who's actually opinionated and says what he's thinking.
I just hope Kyle has $50,000 because now that's what it's going to cost him if you're Xing.
Yeah. Oh.
You called your shot. So now are you going to do it, A, and then B, if you do, are you going to get fined? So I think it'll be curious to see what plays out there. Kyle Busch yesterday, top 7, top 8 run, 3 to go, brings out one of the late race cautions. Those guys, man, a lot of times they've had fast top 10 runs going and just can't finish races. So I hope they take these 2 weeks to kind of reset their brains and come back after the break because the sport needs Kyle Busch. Period.
1,000%. What's he got? I wish I had Trey Ryan here sit next to me. It's something like 19. He's won every year, right? I think.
Yes. So
it's like 19 in a row, and that's the streak's obviously in jeopardy now. To your point, yeah, they were not good. I mean, he qualified like 36th or something like that. Somewhere way in the back. I think he was second or third to last in his group. And they were struggling at the beginning of the race, and then they either found speed or just great strategy by Randall gets them up there. Like you said, they're going to finish in the top 7 somewhere, and you make a mistake like that, a couple laps to go. It's unfortunate. Shout out to Kyle. Appreciate the push back to pit road. Nice guy. I wasn't expecting that. We ran out of gas on the cool down lap, and he pushed us on back.
Nice.
So,
how many laps did you lead yesterday?
Couldn't tell you.
Felt like a bunch.
Yeah, we led pretty much a lot, basically almost all that second stage. Once
no wonder it was easy to find your car.
Yeah, it was easy. I was out front leading. Clear by 100. I'm gonna take a nap. Let me know when the yellow comes out. But yeah, it was. But yeah, thanks to Kyle for giving us a shove back. That's nice of you.
Well, TJ may not be on the show today, but he clearly made his voice heard on this next topic yesterday. So we figured we'd call him in while he's on vacation and get his thoughts on this next one. You ready, TJ?
I'm always ready.
Did your car unlock this morning?
Luckily, I'm not. I didn't put any baggage or anything in my car the night before, so I didn't need it. So everything's all good there. I learned my lesson.
Before we let you start talking, has your blood pressure come down since yesterday at all? You were a little.
I didn't. I wasn't up. It was low.
How many times have you watched the video?
Of which one?
He showed it to me 8 times.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the topic. During stage 1, Chase Elliott was penalized for a blend line violation after the first round of green flag stops. And after his pass-through penalty, Chase said, "I did exactly what the sheet said to do. They didn't say line. They said racing surface. So you tell me how the I was on the racing surface." TJ.
Now, TJ was accused of doing the same thing, which is why he's upset. So that's what I want to hear about.
Share your thoughts, TJ.
I am spot off. I don't agree with the penalty or the wording of how everything is written. It's either it's just, maybe they just say don't cross this line because there's a difference in racing surface because I don't know. I mean, I didn't see anybody racing where Chase went, even though Chase was the furthest out than anybody that was exiting pit road. But if you're going to call it, my problem is you need to call it for every single car the same exact way.
Who else?
Well, I watched Brett's car was the next furthest out, and no penalty, which was probably
the right call.
That was probably right call or wrong call. It was mid-20s when they pit. and no call at all, and which is fine if that's how it's going to go. And then, you overlay like the 6 and the 5, and we get the penalty, and we are lower than the 33, even with the 5, and it just didn't seem. I don't know. Just didn't feel like there was a camera there busting cars like that. Just wasn't consistent.
What if sometimes SMT isn't accurate and my car wasn't as high as you think it was?
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's more accurate.
More accurate than Brett.
The only nothing's more accurate than Brett, but the only time that I will ever probably agree with TJ on this show is I watched it live. And I thought the 6 and the 33 did the exact same thing, and one was a penalty and one wasn't. I don't think I'd seen the 5, but there was multiple guys that crossed at least half a car over that line or had the right sides over that line. And to TJ's point, I don't know what the message delivered to the drivers was in the drivers meeting or pre-race drivers meeting, but I was told in our pre-race meeting, do not cross the second white line. That was what we were told. And now so I assumed that was a written rule somewhere. Then when I seen Mike Ford's tweet or Bob's video, the line's never mentioned. It just says don't get on the racing surface. Well, what's the whole track?
It even said you could cross the line.
Yeah.
Don't get on the racing surface. And it doesn't say which line is the most outside line you can cross.
Yeah.
There's just too much gray area there which is fine if you're going to start penalizing cars, but you need to get them all. And not picking and choosing, which cars and are going to get the penalties.
Yeah, I mean, if you're judging it off of that white line, which is what they seem like they were doing, but TJ's point, I thought he still had his left sides on the white line.
I was all for blows.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
That needs to be spelled out in the rules. Like you can't cross this second white line. That should be the rule. That should be the video, whatever it is. And it simply wasn't, according to what everybody tweeted yesterday. And like I said, I don't know why I was told don't do that, where they got that from for our meeting, but I'm glad they told us because we made sure our guys didn't do it. And as soon as I saw Chase do it, I got on Channel 2 and I was like, hey, if there's a rule about crossing that second white line, the 9 just drove across all the lines.
Yeah, I saw that. And when we saw the 9 do it, everyone was like, that was pretty far. And then when I saw Brett's car do it, I'm like, okay, so.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I mean, allegedly with my own eyes witnessed it.
No. Believe none of what you see.
Yeah, believe none of what you see. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like it needs to be. It just needs to be consistent. I mean, if we're going to get penalties, fine. But I find it hard to believe that the 6 was the only other car that went across that line.
So are you at a beach or are you at Disney World?
I'm not there yet.
I think he's in his car. I think I heard.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. You can't go to Disney at this time of the year. I would never do that. You will never. That's too. You can't do that in the middle of summer.
Thanks for skipping the show. We appreciate your loyalty. And
wait. I have a question.
What's your question?
So rude. You guys stayed out obviously a very, very, very long time with probably empty fuel. What was the communication with the team that entire time? I mean, I think you guys went way longer than most expected. Do you guys just hope for the best?
Well, we were hoping for some more cautions to happen at some point, kind of like Nashville, maybe have one caution, then they breed some more cautions. But we ended up running longer than we thought it could go, but we weren't sure. We were trying to save fuel. I don't know if anybody, I kept backing Brad up because Blaney was driving off of Brad, and every time Brad would drive a little bit slower, Blaney would drive a little bit slower. Well, then it started stacking up 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. They started all racing with each other a little bit. So, which I'm like, okay, that's good because they get to racing with each other, and they were throwing some big blocks. I'm sure, Freddie probably saw they were throwing some big blocks on each other there and into one and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a chance for an accident. Maybe we get a crash, save some fuel. But we were just backing the field up and only running hard if we absolutely had to. So we thought, we knew we were probably going to be short, but we were backing up enough to where it was worth. I mean, we had made our bet. We had to go for it at that point. So, and getting that caution when it did was a little later than we needed. But if the race goes the regular deal there, it might have been pretty close. So that was, we had our bed made early in the race there around that 47. Just we had to do something different to try to make up some ground.
Obviously, you guys pulled off right at the start.
Yeah, way to the whole race up.
Did you?
Yeah, Brad felt it stumbling instead of trying to do anything different or get it
coming on that last lap. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's better just to get out of the way there. But then, obviously,
not what Ryan thinks.
What's Ryan think?
That you should not have gotten the out of the way.
You'd have helped him tremendously if he'd have stayed there and run out of gas.
Yeah, well, we also probably could have got turned and wrecked our own car.
He doesn't care about
that. Yeah, well, I'm also not too worried about his race either. He didn't. I will say that I do think the 5 was rolling more speed than Ryan was. I don't know if you guys covered it yet, but one difference that I don't know if you guys talked about, one difference between the 5 and the 12 on the restart was the 5 used first gear as well, and Ryan stayed in second from what I saw.
Copy.
Well, that's a perfect segue into our next topic, so we'll let you go.
Wouldn't have been a problem if you guys just stayed out there.
Or it wouldn't have been a problem if we just had saved more fuel, too.
Yeah. Or if you wouldn't have got that penalty. You shouldn't have been cheating.
Yeah, I know. Next time we'll follow you because that seems to be the way to go.
And that is exactly why I wanted to call you.
Allegedly.
Cool. Well, enjoy your vacation.
All right. Have a good show.
Peace.
See ya.
Moving on to this next topic.
Well, hang on a second. We gotta still talk about some more Chase Elliott stuff here.
Yeah, I thought you got it all out.
Well, we have to first say Chase Elliott was radioactive gold.
He's very
yesterday.
creative with his curse words.
I think they're in our little group me here. Let me see. I just want to make sure I get the direct quotes. Sorry about I don't even know if you're going to hear any of this, but while those pieces of mother are sitting up there doing nothing, somebody tell me what I did wrong. That he sounds upset right there. I thought there was another really good one he had earlier when they were talking about not being able to pass, and he said, I don't know if it's in here or not, but he said something about like if you just give me a physics-defying button in here, I could probably pass somebody. So he was on one yesterday, which I don't blame him. But, the rule was very vague. For whatever reason, I was told something different than what those rules are saying. I'm glad that was. And I don't know if that was relayed to other people about the white line, and we just assumed that was the way they were going to call it. But yeah, that was unfortunate for him yesterday.
I think the way that Mike Ford's statement is written, it alludes to you not going on, quote, the racing surface, but it needed to be much more clear. It needed to literally, in my mind, have picture of this car is permitted, this car is not permitted, so that they 100% understood what's allowed versus not allowed. To just put that memo out and expect your crew chief to go over that with your driver and then determine on their own accord what that meant, I don't think that's fair to the drivers.
No, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I don't.
No, it's not.
You can say, well, common sense says the racing surface is above the top white line. Well, you didn't specify that. Yeah, so I think you got to do it with a picture. That way they can't say on Monday morning or Sunday afternoons that you didn't explain it. You did exactly what they told you to do, and obviously that wasn't the case.
Yeah, if you read the statement that Ford puts out there, it literally says you may swing wide beyond the white line on the acceleration lane between turns 1 and 2. Stay off the racing surface.
Which means they were saying is the top line was when you broke that one, you were then on the quote racing surface, and obviously that.
Well, but it doesn't say. It says you may swing past the line,
but it doesn't say which line.
Which line?
It doesn't say which line. And to me, putting that statement out is awesome, and it just put a graphic with it, and then there's no denying what's allowed.
Because the video they put out was, the guy never left the acceleration lane itself.
Right.
Interesting. Next one, Kyle Larson jumped the first overtime restart when Ryan Blaney should have been the control car after Brad Keselowski went to pit road for more fuel. Spot on, spot off, Brett.
Here's my biggest problem with this is so many people in our audience didn't understand and didn't know who the control car was. And that's your first problem is an uneducated audience. So we've got to make sure that we're telling people, hey, here's what the rule is. I think Kyle Larson went first. Freddie and I were texting with a retired driver last night about this, and he had an interesting comment. He said he jumped the start, but not enough to get penalized. And I was like, what the does that mean? You just sat there and said he jumped the start. And, oh, by the way, this guy kisses Kyle Larson's ass all the time. So y'all can figure out who it is. He said he jumped the start, but not bad enough to get. But Freddie, how do you even have that viewpoint?
Do you think if he was running second and Kyle did that, he'd have the same opinion?
Oh, hell no. He would. You think Chase Elliott was cussing on the radio?
I think that, what struck me here was Blaney's obviously very mad, and he has every right to be mad. He got bad. He
got hosed.
But, and really, nobody except for Brad really screwed him over, because everything, aside from the fact of the 5 going first, everything was done correctly by the letter of the law of what we do. The row moves up, the control does switch to the 12, but they don't get to re-rack. That's what, but I think he didn't even realize in the moment, because I think Timmy even said it on the radio. I went back and listened to some of it this morning. The 5 fires first, and the yellow comes right out because we all went to turn 1 and wrecked. And, he's just MFing everybody. That's not right. They're just giving it to him, which unfortunately, the way the rules are, that's the way it goes, But so Timmy even says, well, he fired first. And he's like, I don't care. Well, you should care, because that's the only thing that's going to get you the lead back.
Yes.
And the biggest problem I had with it was we have all this data that we can go over. We had an abundance of time to get this right, because we're green there. It looked to me clearly like the 5 fired first. Not egregiously like, holy he's gone, but he fired first. He got the advantage. Now you've got all this time to go back while we're under red flag cleaning this mess up to see which one of these guys fired first.
Who is supposed to fire first?
The 12. The 12 is supposed to fire first. Now, do I think it would have made a difference? Probably not, because I don't know that he was going to be good enough to get clear. The only way he's going to retain the lead is if he gets completely clear of Larson into 1, or just runs really tight on his door. So, I don't know. I don't think you can throw a caution there and re-rack them. I was listening to a little bit of teardown. I don't think you can just all of a sudden give the leader lane choice because, something changed. It's just, I don't know what the remedy is, but
here's the question. Did he jump the start?
Yeah, I think so.
I do too.
So what would that? So to your point, if they were under the red flag,
tell it a feel.
If we stayed green, it would have been a pass-through penalty. And once you stay, if a yellow comes out before you serve your pass-through penalty, you go to the tail of the field on a restart. So that would have been the right call, I think. And like I said, it wasn't like holy he took off way early, and it looked to me, honestly, watching it, like neither one of them knew who the control car was. And I think Larson even said it. Larson's like, I wasn't sure if I was a control car. He said, I looked at him. It seemed like he didn't know if he was a control car. So I just I obviously wanted to make sure I got a good start.
When you're Kyle Larson and you've already got wins in the bank, what do you got to lose? If I'm Kyle Larson, I'd do it too.
Yeah.
I would put them in a position to make an uncomfortable call. It's the wrong call to not call it, but he put them in a pickle and said, call it. And guess what? They didn't call it.
Yeah. And just listen, obviously, it's all happened so fast that you go back and listen to Kyle's radio, and they are trying to get him to, which the in-car camera, for some reason I saw, mysteriously the audio cuts out right when they get in the restart zone, which I thought was weird. But Cliff is trying to get him to confirm a position of one of his switches. And so much 6 pulls off. Tyler's probably counting the restart zone. And it's just so much going on there, even for NASCAR. It's just it was a all hell broke loose moment for sure.
My favorite part is social media when they say, listen, I'm a Kyle Larson fan and he jumped the start.
I'll tell you how Ford's got to be upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no, I don't know what you can't stay out if you're the 6. You could, I guess, but you really, to save your race car, you don't want guys staying out there getting risk or getting run over. At the same time, listen, Blaney, the 5 talked about choosing behind the 6 because he may run out. And then they even went over, can we pass him the second he runs out, or do we have to stay in line to the start finish line? So they had this thought out, to where they kind of assume, because I was told when we were coming to the 2 to go or something like that, I was told the 6 is going to run out this lap or the beginning of the next lap. So I had told Bubba, like, I think the leader's going to run out, which obviously he was really close. He started stumbling there. But, yeah, so it was, it's just, it's unfortunate.
Hey, it's good. It's good for Kyle Larson. It's bad for Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, Blaney got screwed, but it wasn't like somebody just outright screwed him. It just the circumstances didn't play in his favor for sure.
Were you guys surprised at how long Brad was able to stay out there?
Yeah, so we were, I don't know where you were at fuel-wise, but we ran out basically as soon as we took the checker flag yesterday. And he pit 10 laps before us. So, and we were all saving. We were probably running, which is, again, crazy, but we were running 60% throttle for a lot of the run, down the straightaways and stuff. So we're all saving hard, so you really don't know. We haven't run this package there. We haven't run these cars there. So, we were getting better fuel mileage in practice than what they anticipated going there. So, it was – and Brad's always been one of the best at fuel saving and getting the most out of it. So it wasn't a really surprise, but like we were talking about some of the guys up there that were out of the race were just scanning the 6 radio, and they're like, man, I think they're going to go for it. Like before that, like Booty told me, the 31 was way short. He pitted 12 laps for us.
Pitted 8 to go.
And the 6 was 10 laps for us. And he's like, the 2 of them are definitely going to have to pit. Well, the 31 pit, and then they're like, everybody's like, I think the 6 is going for it. And I'm like, how's he going to? And obviously, which I think he would have. I think it would have been close. I probably still would have ran out right before the end, but he definitely stretched it more than anybody else did.
NBC did a great job of like highlighting where people and when people had pitted, so you can see how close people are and who's on what strategy. But also, they showed kind of like in the car of how the fuel system works and how if there's not as much of a banking, it's hard, like some of the fuel just stays in there. I wasn't sure if like there's that makes an impact if you were to go somewhere like a Bristol that has a much higher banking, if you would take that into consideration. But I was surprised Brad went as far as he did too.
See.
Next one, NASCAR chose not to throw the yellow flag on the last lap. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
Spot on, great decision.
And why is that?
Next topic.
Because he's TJ
up?
right
What's
now.
Up next? Ask
He's
DBC.
glad he finished fifth. Of course, Freddie wanted to caution. You just heard him say he ran out of gas.
Yeah. So look to me.
I'm going to ask Freddie. I'm excited. I said I'm 3 times in a row like a rapper right there. If this happens on lap 5 versus on lap 163 or whatever it was, is it a caution on lap 5?
Yes.
Is it a caution as soon as he comes to a complete stop on lap 5?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Shouldn't be. I said that 1,000 times on here. If it's a caution at lap 1, it's a caution at lap 200. Whatever that is. Obviously, I think their thought process, and we saw this play out. I think it was Pocono, the same guy, same thing. Ryan spun out off a 2 in the short chute, sat there for a lap. This is, I think, last year, the year before, and sat there for a lap. They waited. They stayed green until we got back like halfway up Long Pond, and they realized, they know you can't. We're not gonna be able to drive by him while he's sitting there stopped. So they throw the yellow there, and everybody got upset because Denny won. I think obviously their thought process is we do not want another What happened here was Ryan. It looked to me like Ryan ran out of fuel coming off a 2. Somebody ran in the back of him, turned him. He got spun. Obviously had flats, kind of got beached there. Was trying to get going. To his credit, he took off, tried to get going. I don't know if he maybe ran out again or it was just the fact he couldn't move anymore because of his flat tires. So credit to Ryan. That wasn't just sitting there trying to draw a caution, I don't think. But yeah, it was. They're trying to avoid another Nashville, which we just saw a couple weeks ago, where you got guys running out every restart, causing big.
So who are you protecting?
Yourself, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying it's right. That's by no means is it right. I think that, like I said on here 1,000 times, you can't like a caution's a caution. It's not an entertainment flag. It's not. People pit on that green white checker, banking on people running out of fuel. That's what we did in Nashville. We had to pit. We pit, and we made it back to the top 5 because other guys were running out. But so their thought process was we don't want another disaster on our hands where every restart somebody runs out, then we run each other over and have a big wreck and have to do this all over again. But at the same time, a caution's a caution. Whenever it happens, you should throw the flag.
We knew a caution was coming. We just didn't know when.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it before the white or is it after the white? Because he's over there stuck with a flat tire. The caution is coming. Who has the discretion of when it comes?
The race director.
The race director who holds the button, whether it was because he thought it didn't warrant a caution or somebody behind him was telling him it didn't warrant a caution. And while I disagree with the call, I mean, it is what it is. I think Kyle Larson won a race.
But to Freddie's point, obviously, I mean, Ryan was trying. You can see that he was trying. So does that make a difference where they're trying to see if he can get going?
He tried to get going, but he was clearly stopped, and I thought probably clearly not going to be able to move as we were coming off of 4, at least.
He wasn't moving.
You know,
he wasn't going anywhere.
Well, I mean, he moved. He drove. He was driving, and then he stopped.
Yeah,
but that was the length of the back straightaway. They were probably, when he stopped, they were probably between 3 and 4. And then you realize, you give it a second to realize, okay, now he's not going to continue to try. Yeah. So they had time. I mean, the track's so big that you could time to, lot. And that's another reason why, because I don't think he really ever made any contact with the wall. If he did, it was
he did slightly.
Yeah, it was barely. And I just, what fixes this? I said it after Nashville. Get rid of the overtimes. Stop. Problem solved. The race is over. Brad Keselowski wins. Game over. Everybody go home. Brickyard 400, not the Brickyard 406 or whatever we ended up running.
So you mentioned, obviously, this helped you not run out of gas, but what does it help for points now?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge for us. It potentially breaks our season right there, because now we finished 5th. I think we're 7 behind Ross and 17 behind Buescher. If we run out and we have to come to pit road, you're going to finish, I'm assuming there was 20-something cars on the lead lap. We're going to finish mid-20s. Maybe who knows, with restarts we might get some more back. So you're talking about a 15-point swing. Now we're 22, 23 out instead of 7. Not over a daunting factor, but it's obviously a lot better now. So it's helped us tremendously.
This is very important. Behind you in points with wins: Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric. There's a chance Logano could get ahead of you in points. Do you want him ahead of you or behind you?
I mean, obviously, it's just for peace of mind, you'd like to see him ahead of you, because it's frustrating. We're basically, I went back and looked last night, and at this point last year, we're having a much better season. We have like 40 to 45 more points this year than we had at this time last year. So that's a full race, basically. We got 42 points yesterday with a stage win and a top 5. So, that's basically a race or more. So we're performing better, and right now we're out of the playoffs because there's 3 guys behind us in the playoffs that have wins. So that's frustrating, but that's the game we play, and you got to you got to win races. And if obviously those guys put themselves in position to win races, and we haven't yet. We had a really good day yesterday, so all we could do. I had a laugh. 2 weeks ago we were, I forget, I think we were 45 behind Buescher and 50-something behind Ross. Every show I listened to, whether it was Tear Down or Dale's, or we were must win. We were back to must win situation, and I'm like, it's 40 points in like 6 races. Like, you could do that in one race.
Yeah, divide that number by 5 or 6. It ain't that hard.
It was 7. We had it when it was 45. It was 7 points a race. And it's like, that's not that, it's definitely not out of the question. And then all you have to have is a little bit of problems. And like Ross wrecked last week, and he was struggling yesterday, so that made up the difference for us. But yeah, it was a huge break for us when I seen that spin, I was like, dear God, don't throw the yellow, because Booty had already told us we have 1 green white checker, and that's it. Like, once this green white checker comes, if the yellow comes out again, we have to pit.
Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, Darlington left. Is Michigan your best chance to win?
Yeah, I think so. Bubba's really good there. We damn near should have won it 2 years ago, I think it was. But they're all pretty good tracks for Bubba. So I feel pretty confident, and we're running well now. The biggest thing is stage points. That's what we can get a big finish. We got a good top 10 at Pocono just by kind of surviving and kind of inching our way forward. And we really didn't make up. We made up. Ross wrecked. We still only made up like 15 or 20 points. Yesterday, stage win. He gets no stage points. We finished in the top 5. He finished, 15th, which was great for him because he wasn't running that well, I don't think. And we make up obviously take a much bigger chunk out of it. So that's the biggest thing we got to focus on, is getting stage points and running up front consistently. Qualifying better is one of our biggest Achilles right now. We got to qualify better. That puts you in position to get stage points, and that'll be what makes the difference.
The last thing you need is somebody behind you in points to win.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think we can honestly catch both of those guys. I think we can jump Buescher and Ross if we continue to run as well as we are. But that's the thing. We have to jump both of them almost because you got to defend against a new winner at Daytona. That who the hell knows who's going to win there. And then I don't think there's much wild card. Michigan, Richmond. I don't think
a wild card is going to happen at Darlington.
No,
at all. And I don't think one. I agree with you. I think the only wild card winner potentially to still come because everything's based on who's fast and who's not.
Yeah.
And Daytona, obviously, anything can happen.
Agreed. When we come back from the break, we will shift gears to the phone lines and hear your thoughts on Reaction Theater.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans as low as $20 a month.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See ConsumerCellular.com for promotional details. Let's go to the calls.
Well, I heard today Joe Biden was looking for a job, and seems like they had him up in NASCAR Control Center because nobody seems to know how to throw a damn caution anymore. He must have been stumbling and mumbling his words up there and not figuring out what the button to push. That was awful.
I want to marry that guy.
It's a friend of yours.
Yeah, no, I don't know him, but I want to know him.
Probably you. Is that Joel?
That might have been Joel.
Here's some fun facts for the day. Things you can do in under 31 seconds. The average person will blink 8 times. You will create 70 million new red blood cells. You will shed 20,000 skin cells. Your heart will beat about 40 times. You know what NASCAR does in 31 seconds while there's cars spinning on the track? Absolutely nothing. They just stare at it and hope that it goes away because they just create cautions whenever they want to call them, not when they are actually cautions. Wow. What a difference 30 seconds makes.
I've done a lot of dumb 30 seconds. You?
Yeah. Done a lot of fun.
Kids are made in less than 30 seconds.
I've done a lot of fun in 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds. I don't think I blink 8 times in 30 seconds. That seems like a lot. But yeah. Maybe they were hoping like it was gonna be like an iRacing deal where the guy wrecks and then he just sitting there and he just disappears. Like, like that.
There's that feature.
Well, I'll tell you what, fellas, I've been a long-time NASCAR fan. I got my 2 teenage boys. We go to the races, and when I started dating my current woman, I started getting her know-it-all little prick son into the NASCAR races as a way to bond. We went to Nashville all together, and he loved it. He's been watching all the races at home, the NASCAR Chicago Street Course race, and he's really getting into it. It gave us a reason to bond. And then we saw this at Indy. He is so pissed at me. Last time he was this pissed at me is when he walked in at me butt his mama.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks, NASCAR. You ruined my life.
Wow.
What part is he referring to?
It was the butt.
The butt part? The 30-second butt thing he was talking about.
No, the race.
No, we had way worse problems than that call.
Well,
I just took a more satisfying than the end of that race.
I can relate to that.
I
don't even know what he said because the first 3 words made me cry.
Just took a more satisfying than that race.
Oh, I'm gonna have.
Hey, what's up, gang? Super good to see you, Brett, there before the race. Welcome to the elevator. Thanks for chatting it up with me on your walks to the elevator. If I'd have known I was going to Inspire today, I would have asked you to put it into Ty Dillon's ear to ship the 5 into Oblivion or something, because I get absolutely sick and tired of paying for damn race tickets, and I got to watch Kyle Larson win the race. So hopefully I'll try to get me a refund or something. I've been to a couple of Kyle Larson races now, and I can't ever get a refund from NASCAR. So working on that, but shout out to Brett, man. Thanks, buddy. Talk to y'all later.
That dude had a cool mullet. And, bro, we ain't seen the 5. Like, we ain't seen him. We can't ship him. We ain't seen him.
That was, that run where he was the only guy not saving fuel, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, he's just driving by all of us like we look like idiots. But, yeah, credit. I was walking to the roof, and this young lady got off the elevator. Not young lady, I don't know how old she was, but probably my age or younger than me a little bit. But
definitely not young.
Yeah, definitely not young. She's definitely younger than I am.
She looks younger.
But she got off with a "don't give a" to her shirt on. So I was like, "Hey," I said, "Nice shirt." She said, "Oh, hey." So it was good to see a bunch of DBC fans out there again, of course.
Yeah, Ross Chastain actually used the word. He was at home couch racing this race for years, when they were running on the oval, and he was thinking he would do this differently and that differently. He said, then I showed up and I found out how slick and how out of control these cars are. Now I know why all those guys did what they did. But no, there's a lot of DBC fans out there that say, hey, at the racetrack, we appreciate you guys.
Hey, what a great race. I don't know who won because it turned off. But all I do know is, as an old gray-haired guy that's seen the first Brickyard and it sucked, and seen the second Brickyard and it sucked, and they put these freaking cars back on the track again that don't run good on Indy, my God, it's a freaking train wreck. Really? These cars are too big and too heavy to run this track, just like my stepsister Martha. They can't get around the track.
Damn.
Too fat, too heavy.
So here's the only thing I wish we could see happen, and I don't know how to do it, is the car from behind going down those long straightaways. You wish he could just long, narrow straightaways. You just wish you could get a run, like draft up to them and shotgun them. And you can't.
Shotgun them?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the term.
Well, we used to shotgun them.
Slingshot,
Whenever there'd be two guys, slingshot.
Stupid.
I was thinking about shotgunning this beer sitting beside of me. Well, we need to slingshot them into a shotgun. Damn it. But you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
I know.
You watch the runs and you're like, oh, he's going to get.
That's kind of. That was kind of what the Xfinity package was designed. And the one year, I think I spotted with Elliott. I spotted you with Elliott.
Yeah.
And that was like a damn. We were slingshotting then. That was, I forget what package we ran, but it was
shotgunning.
Shotgunning. But I mean, we were probably shotgunning as well. I think that was the week it rained every day, and I almost missed the race. But because Brett left me at the hotel. I'm spotting with Brett, and we go out the night before, and it's literally raining every day this week.
Day.
It's like I've raced on like Tuesday, and it's Friday night or whatever before the Xfinity race on Saturday. I said, all right, you gonna pick me up tomorrow? Yeah. All right, good. So I get up in the morning, text Brett. I'm like, just let me know when you get here. I get a text back. What do you mean? I'm like, are you picking me up? He's like, no, I'm at the track. I'm like, well, I'm downtown, and the race starts in 2 hours. Like, I can't walk, I don't think. I ended up taking a damn Uber to the racetrack.
I left him.
I left him. I was like, you can explain to Elliott why he doesn't have a second spotter today because I'm still at the hotel.
Why are you guys still friends?
So we got a little bit better story than that one too, or at least as good. Is, we came back from COVID and we had all these rules in place. You must wear a mask. Okay, check. You cannot sit within 6 feet of each other. Okay, check. You cannot wear shorts, even though it's 100 degrees outside. Okay, check. And in the middle of the race, Elliott Sadler texted Freddie and myself and said, hey, you two idiots are on NBC. And then I'm like, uh-oh. So I open the picture, and I look at Freddie, and there's me and Freddie sitting beside of each other, no mask on.
I mean, 1 seat apart.
Elbow to elbow, and shorts. And needless to say, we got in trouble. We got screamed at.
Maybe Indy's a bad side.
Maybe it's just bad for us. But
I think there's a trend, not the place.
But I literally was sitting there, and I'm like, of all the things for this to be on, it's on NBC. Like, it's not like it's in a picture on Twitter, and nobody's going to see it. So I look at Freddie, I was like, we're in deep. Well, we got in trouble. We got screamed at and everything else. But
probably wasn't the first time.
Thankfully, Sacco loves us.
We got the shorts rule changed.
Then next week we were able to wear shorts.
Oh God!
This is going to be a lot. Try to keep up.
Uh-oh.
So the fans want to know why NASCAR didn't throw the caution for Ryan Preece. So naturally, NASCAR made NASCAR available to NASCAR.com. So that we can know what NASCAR thought. Because, NASCAR told NASCAR, if you're having trouble following along, don't worry. So was NASCAR.
Yeah,
you texted me this last night.
I was wondering with Casey's PR marketing background, and my question to you is, should they have put out a statement saying what they said, or should they have done an exclusive interview on their media outlet with their employee?
I think that the fact that they didn't interview at all is the right call. I mean, he might do more interviews throughout the week. I don't know.
Listen, this lady brought it up, and she has a valid point.
Yeah.
And I just think that if you're going to make a public statement on camera that, you know, Jim Utter, Lee Spencer, Jordan Bianchi, Jeff Gluck, Jenna Fryer, Marty Smith, and whoever else was there should have the opportunity to hear it and ask you questions versus your own employee asking you questions.
Well, these calls were certainly creative, so thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Last week might have called you guys out a little bit, but you have stepped it up this week for sure. Keep it coming.
Caller number 704-802-9572. Keep those creative calls coming.
Consumer Cellular is the official wireless partner of Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing, and the number 6 car. If they can count on Consumer Cellular, you can too.
Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing know speed, and that's just what you get with Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has award-winning, 100% U.S.-based customer service centers, so you can always get the help that you need. It's like having your pit crew right when you need them.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as the leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month. There are no activation fees and no contracts. Consumer Cellular customers stay because they want to, not because they have to. They don't need to trap their customers.
You can even try Consumer Cellular for 30 days risk-free. If you don't love it, cancel it. But we'll bet you love it.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of free service. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See ConsumerCellular.com for promotional details.
This first question is from Marie. Given the controversy over the blend rule, how much info does NASCAR give you before the race on a typical weekend? Are the types of instruction videos that Bob shared normal?
Yeah, so Brett hasn't been doing it much this year, but there's an app called Group Me, which is basically just a group text app. There's a bunch of them. Slack is another one we use. NASCAR's now started a Group Me with all the spotters. So they have, I don't even know if they have a virtual meeting now with the crew chiefs and drivers, because the drivers meeting now is kind of more of a show, and they just play a video. They play that video every driver's meeting. Now even the modified races I do, they play a video that just kind of goes over all the ground rules like you would before a baseball game of what's fair, what's foul, yada, yada, yada. We get sent the videos from the drivers' meetings now every week, so we can watch them to know what the rules are. So that video that Bob showed was a part of the video they play before the races to the teams and drivers. So we have that information, I think, usually Friday or Saturday leading up into the weekend. So we have all that information every week. We get those videos every week. They do a really good job of being transparent with the rules, obviously, for us. So we do have that information available to us. And then we will also go over, like I said, we have a pre-race meeting that we'll go over everything within our own team to clarify any questions we might have if a rule's different, if the choose location's different, who's going to see it, what the best way to do it is. So, stuff like that. But yeah, you get information from NASCAR. Then if you have any questions, you go over it with your team.
The drivers had a virtual driver crew chief meeting Thursday at 5 p.m. before Indy. They had a question for you, Freddie.
Come on, buddy.
Before we dive into
AskDBC.
This is going to be a good one. I got my own hashtag AskDBC. Your track house racing.
Okay.
And you secure a third charter.
Yep.
Period. It's done, right? Are you hiring SVG or are you hiring Zane Smith, and which one do you want and why?
You're saying, what do I think is going to happen? Or
No. Which one are you hiring?
Okay, I'm hiring SVG.
Why?
Because he has 5 opportunities to win, I think. He has even more if you consider the plate racing. But that's 5 legit opportunities. Like, I think he's in position. He wins Chicago if he doesn't get wrecked. I thought he was the best car, best driver there, especially when the conditions changed. He would have been hard to beat again, like he was last year. I think that you don't have an option. I think that's if you want to get in the playoffs, which obviously is every team's goal. I think SVG will probably end up which he's going to drive the car next year. But, I think he ends up probably mid to late 20s in points. But like I said, he has 5 opportunities and can very easily win one of those races and get you steal a playoff spot. Like we just talked about, 3 guys out of the points, out of the top 16 right now are in the playoffs or towards the back of the top 16 at least.
I was hoping you were going to pick Zane because I was going to say what you just said. So I'm 100% on board with you. But I was on a plane last night, and obviously Zane, there were points in the race yesterday where he was up front, and I was like, man, he needs this. There's a lot of rumors that he's in contention for the Front Row Motorsports seat that's open, and I'm like, man, good for him, and I'm watching this thing. I'm like, which one would I hire? And I'm like, 100% SVG because of what you just said. Not only are there five chances he can win, there's 5 chances he can dominate.
Yeah.
And some of those are, early in the season, mid-season, late season, one of the playoffs. So you just never know what could happen. Also, shout out to him at Collie Racing, finishing 4th at Indianapolis Road Course. It seems like road course racers, as they get used to NASCAR, they run well at Martinsville. They run well at Indy. They run well at some of the ovals that just, for whatever reason, kind of – but, hey, they were shifting. Was Xfinity shifting? I know Cup was.
I don't know.
But shout out to them for a good finish. But, yeah, I'm with you on the SVG thing. I would take him over Zane, too.
So are you thinking that's what's going to happen?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, don't forget, submit your questions on X using hashtag AskDBC. It is time to chat What an Idiot.
I don't even have any What an Idiot's in my phone.
I have one.
Who is
it? You. I was going to say it's got to be you.
You.
What do you do now?
Why?
I mean, all you have to do is watch the video last week.
The one where you got a nanny and a chef and a butler and all those things?
Yeah, I mean, we must be making some serious
like,
money over at CBI.
What's Chad charging to race these kids around?
If that's the case.
How's CBI know? Are we still leading the USAC points?
Yes, I believe so.
That's good.
That's good.
You got an idiot?
I do have an idiot, yeah.
Who is it? Maybe it'll inspire me.
And listen, it's not an idiot, but this just really struck me as funny yesterday because we get these transcripts of the audio recordings during the race or pre-race, and this started spreading like wildfire on the roof. Pre-race Saturday, my man Brandon Jones, his team, they were obviously just trying to pump my man up and get him ready, which he ran pretty good, I thought. Crew chief, it sounds like, I think the crew chief said, I forgot the most important question. Go ahead and let me know who's the baddest mother out here. And in response, Brandon said, they already know it, but I'll show them again. We are.
Wow.
I didn't know that. I know he says we already knew, but I didn't know that they were the baddest.
Didn't know either.
So, and he forgot to show me, I think, on Saturday. So,
I hope he does
listen,
well.
I really like Brandon, so I'm
do
only
too.
giving him.
They get these 2 weeks off and become the bad mother they think they are.
Were you inspired
that'd be great.
for another idiot nominee?
I was going to give it to you by that hardest race comment yesterday because I was like,
well, dude, I couldn't find my car.
that would make it more.
I felt like I was watching that movie.
I told somebody, I said,
where's my car?
I told our marketing people, Ashley Brevac, who does a lot of our paint schemes or works with people doing our paint schemes, she'll be the one that runs it by me if there's something dark about it. And I said, from now on, whatever we do here, we have to have a color on our car because
but you had a little bit of blue.
We had blue. That's what I'm saying. Like we had I was talking about how my car stood out because I had that blue nose. I noticed like Nick Payne had a pink car on Saturday, and you could spot that in the crowd anywhere, but like there's so many like all white cars with a couple stripes or all black with some stripes, and they all looked exactly the same. That like I'm like you have to have whatever we come here for, just a splash of color somewhere.
I got a what an idiot, and he's gonna get his feelings hurt.
Oh no,
yeah. But that's okay because I don't care because I still love the guy. I also gave him a hard time about an inside joke that you and I have on him. But Reed Sorensen, they start wrecking yesterday coming off turn 2, and he keys up on channel 2 and says they're wrecking. And I was like, Reed, I don't care. I can see it on TV. Ty might need to know what channel 1. So Reed Sorensen, much as I love you, you get my one idiot.
The best time
Reed did a phenomenal job, by the way.
Phenomenal.
Other than that,
could you see his car?
He probably saw it better than I did. I still don't know where we're at.
The funny thing, I'm sure we've told this story on here, but old Will, Brett was always just brutal to Will on the radio, and I love it. I loved every second of it because it's so funny. But it was me, Brett, and Will were doing Watkins Glen for Elliott in the Xfinity race. I was on the backstretch in the bus stop. Will was in turn 1. And Brett was on the front stretch. Well, they go green, and they're side by side through 1. I hear Brett spotting his ass off, and then they go through 2, and Will don't say. And I'm like, and they come by me, like they come out of turn, whatever, at the top of the hill there, and they were still side by side. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they were still racing, whatever. So Brett's like, Will, what the He's like, you got to talk to them, tell them where they're at, yada, yada, yada. So, all right, we have another restart like 10 laps later. And Brett did all that on channel 2. He's yelling at Will on channel 2, just we can hear it. And Next time we go through here, they throw the green flag, and Brett's spotting his ass off. We're 2x2, and next thing you know, it's transition point. Here comes Will. Will gets on there. He's spotting his ass off inside here. Da, 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 da. I mean, he sounded like he'd been doing this his whole life. He comes my section. I was great. Brett said, Will, that was a great job. Just next time, try to do that on channel 1.
He was on the wrong channel. Yeah, he spotted doing some of the best spotting I've ever heard in my life on the wrong channel. Hell, he never heard a word.
Oh, poor Will. How is Will?
He is. Have we ever told the condo story on here? Because we need to get to that one if we had.
Let's go. I mean, I don't know if we ever have.
We won't do it today.
Not today.
We'll save it because it's a long story. Long story.
Oh, Will.
Of all the things that you've done in your life that you think are dumb,
yeah, Will's
they don't hold a candle to this one. No, it's bad.
Poor Will.
Well, shout out to Brett. You won.
Did you win?
Yes, with Chase Elliott.
Well, that was a tough one.
Yeah, y'all had bad picks.
The best finish behind you was 24.
I know. Well, I had a shot at it, and
No, you
then there was a caution. Freddie, you get to go first.
Y'all better go big because I got some big guns left.
Really?
Yeah.
Who the hell do you got left?
Yeah,
Bunch of them.
You ain't got nobody left.
Chase Briscoe.
SVG.
Chase Briscoe's on a mission.
He is on a mission.
I tried. It didn't work.
Let's see. Who the hell am I going to pick? Damn. I should have looked this up and seen who ran good here last time.
At Richmond?
Yeah.
You can't pass.
I know. I want to take. I should have took this guy last week. I'll take Gregson.
That's what I was going to take. I wish I would have saved Kyle Busch for this one, but I was an idiot and I spent him 2 weeks ago.
TJ is picking Chris Buescher.
Let's go pick
Buescher.
Freddie, you took mine, so I'll take Josh Berry.
Oh, Josh Berry.
That's who I wish I would have saved for here.
Yeah.
Brett.
Oh, y'all just took all my picks, which I didn't have a shot.
You didn't have
Josh
anybody
Berry.
left anyways.
Man, let's go with Austin Cindric. His teammates seem to run well at short tracks, and he's got a win. He can gamble.
He won a Gateway, which is similar.
I'll go with Austin Cindric.
So obviously we have a few weeks off. What can we expect as we catch up to Richmond?
I was going to say, if you're about to ask me what to expect for 2 weeks.
Nothing.
I know not to ask you that.
No, actually, I got to work this week, and then I'm headed to the Bahamas for Keely's Sweet 16 birthday party. Freddie, what are you doing?
I am going to New York. They're having a memorial race for my dad at Riverhead this week, so we're going
That'll be
there.
awesome.
It'll be fun.
Reddick getting married?
Reddick's getting married this week. Unfortunately, I can't go there. I told him the weeks didn't work out. So New York this week, going up there tomorrow. Going to spend a couple days in the city. Go hang out with my buddy Large from Barstool. Have some dinner. I said, I don't care where you go. Just pick me a good place to eat. So we're going to go there. Maybe go to a Mets-Yankees game on Wednesday night if it doesn't rain. Then go out to the island for the weekend. And then the following week, Brandon McReynolds is getting married in Wilmington. So we're going to go there, hang out for a couple days at the beach, and hopefully not be too hungover to kick my ass the whole time for not wanting to get out of bed.
So there's a solid chance you're going to need me at Richmond.
Yeah, you might have to fill in for me there.
Lots of NASCAR weddings these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Suarez is getting married this week too.
And then
right?
running the Mexico race.
Yeah. How would you feel about that? Like
Getting married and then running
like,
it? Is it the other way around?
Honeymoon? I think he gets married first and then he goes and races.
Oh, I mean, we didn't even really have much of a honeymoon. So I was supposed to go to Greece for our honeymoon, and we did racing instead. So
Priest just tweeted for everybody that needs to know he was out of fuel. So we can clear the air for that one too.
Yeah, I said earlier. I watched the video.
And we are off for 2 weeks. Richmond, cool track, fun market.
Yeah, for sure. And we're gonna have some fun stuff coming the next couple of weeks. We're not just gonna leave you hanging. We'll have some.
You might love one of our
I
guests.
love one of them. Well, we got a couple cool guys coming in here to BS around a little bit. Some guys we've had on before, a couple new ones, or one new one at least.
Enjoy the Olympics.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Listen, I love the Olympics. For winter, summer, don't matter. But that's the only time I watch soccer is the Olympics. But yeah, I can sit there and watch any kind of Olympic sport. I was going back and watching the old trials, like the ones
like from years ago.
No, like from this year. But I was like, I didn't see him live. We were watching it one night. We were at a bar somewhere in Chicago, and we were watching some of them. So I went back and watched some of them just to see who the hell was any good at stuff. So go USA!
All right, thank y'all for listening.
Hopefully next time we're back on the show, I will have had a baby by then.
Oh,
so
is that
we'll see.
what's your due date?
August 15th. So I'm hoping early.
No, you're going to have one more show in you.
Good luck.
Okay, stop. Punch you in the face.
Tell your gardener I said hello. We out. Holla.
Word.